Well, I'm joined by David Midghall here in the studio, a gentleman probably known to many people on the Isle of Man, at the front there, and your coaches, Isle of Man Tours. We went to Euro, well, whatever it's called in the very early days of Disney. Do you remember that?
Euro Disney before it opened.
Wow.
It was a press trip, wasn't it?
Trying to see if that was going to work. But I mean, I'd like to talk to you because obviously this has just been the most, I mean, it's never been a good year for coaching for a long time, I think. There's been quite a lot of
It's been
casualties.
a decline for a long time, yeah. Since the 70s and 80s, it's been a big fall in.
Yeah, and here on the Isle of Man, you're the only player in town, aren't you?
We're the only private Manx-run coach company left, yeah.
Okay, so obviously this year's been a disaster. I mean, how did it hit you, and what can you make out of it?
It started off really in the spring with the announcement of Flybe cancelling all the flights and going out of business. That started what was going to be a very good season. On paper, our diary was very busy for this year. It looked very good for the Isle of Man, for groups coming in. So once Flybe went out of business, we started getting groups cancelling for the spring and into the summer, and little did we know, shortly later COVID-19 kicked in, and it was literally everyone just fell off a cliff.
How does it work with you? I mean, these are people that come into the Isle of Man, that you take over the things, or you take people overseas as well? Which
both ways.
Right.
We have a probably one holiday a month from spring to autumn, taking Isle of Man residents on coach holidays. They're predominantly the elder age group, 60 pluses. So a lot of those rely on us to take them away, because otherwise they wouldn't go away on holiday, because we pick them up from the home, so it's door-to-door holidays, and then onto the ferry, and off we go to a destination for a week, 10 days, whatever. And so obviously our spring programme that got cancelled, we weren't able to run that. And then we just had to sort of really run from week to week, because none of us knew what was going to happen. We were always optimistic in the spring that something might happen in September, October.
Yeah, I think I heard some adverts on the radio as well, saying you're looking forward to it. And gosh,
and we did really hope that something would open up in the autumn, and that's obviously not going to happen now. We've had to cancel our whole year's programme now.
So you've got drivers, you've obviously got all the vehicles.
Yeah, we've got vehicles mothballed at the moment.
And your drivers presumably have to be let off, does it?
The drivers, we've been able to support the drivers through all this.
Right.
Fortunately, the government's salary support scheme has helped us a big way. So we've managed to get through. Unfortunately, a lot of our casual part-time drivers, they haven't turned a wheel since March.
It's never been easy, as far as I can see. I don't know if I should take you down too controversial a route, but you kind of compete a lot with the national bus companies these days.
We're in
on things that go on here.
Yes, we're in competition with the government.
Competition. Which we use that word.
Which we shouldn't be.
Right.
We're a private coach company, and we shouldn't have to compete with the Isle of Man government bus banning.
Because they'll tender and you tender, but they don't have to worry about too much.
Nothing tends to go to tender anymore.
Oh, it doesn't?
No. So it just gets swallowed up within the departments. So
that was your bread and butter, or was that at what stage?
For example, primary school swimming, we used to have a proportion of that, for the winter months, which was very good for us. From September to Easter was perfect for us. We had a few schools to look after, and then the summer season would kick in. So that was bread and butter for the winter to help maintain staff, because obviously we need staff for the summer months, but less so in the winter. Sure. But we have to keep them on board, and that's why we've been working hard at the moment to try and keep those staff retained, because it takes years and years of experience for coach driving. You can't just pluck a driver off the street as such to do our job. It takes a lot of training.
And is the pay comparable? Because I always used to hear stories in the good old days that the buses were on a lot more than the private sector. Has that changed a lot? Or?
It's changing a little bit, probably because they've been restricting their pay increases. There was quite a gulf between coach driving and bus driving.
So you'd lose people?
Lose because of that, because I think the bus drivers over here are very well recompensed, but the coaching industry, we're probably pitched in the middle of the sort of UK average, because it's notoriously been a poorly paid industry, ever since I've been brought into it. But you tend to do it because it gets in your blood, the love of the industry, really, the job.
So when the big boats were coming in, the big ships, and there was loads of tours around the Isle of Man. Would that be something you would get, or is that automatically gone now to?
No,
the
cruise ships coming in, they prefer coaches for the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You've got
the
better visibility.
So you were getting that, and then that's gone as well. Then
That's all gone this year. We've lost 30 odd ships this year.
30 is it?
Yeah, not quite as many as last year.
On the positive side, this is actually why I contacted you. You're going to try sort of the stay vacation route of trying to get locals to get on a coach. Please tell us.
Yes, 2 or 3 weeks ago we had to cancel our September programme of coach holidays. So we've had about 200 customers to phone up and speak to explain that we can't go away, obviously because of the restrictions, both here and in the UK. And a common theme soon developed when we were speaking to our customers. Normally a conversation would take 2, 3, 4 minutes to cancel a booking, but the generation of people we're talking to, older ladies and gentlemen, they just like to have a little chat. People haven't spoken to anyone for a little while, and sometimes you can be talking to people for 20, 25 minutes. And it soon became apparent that there is still a reluctance on the Isle of Man for a lot of our elderly population to go out and about much. And whilst we've had our freedom for the last couple of months, they really have not been going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And after all this, we had a sort of bit of a think about what can we do? We're going to have to do something. So I thought, well, it's been a long time since we did mystery tours, so I put a little bit of nostalgia.
Oh my goodness!
I used to love doing those off the promenade with.
That's right, the big signs up saying get
mystery tour.
That's how the.
And we'd go and have a little drive down the country lanes, off the beaten track, and have a nice destination to stop for some refreshments.
So you're going to have a go at that.
So we're going to do that. First one is next Tuesday. So we start at lunchtime in Ramsey, and so it's based for the residents in the north and the west of the islands. Yeah. And we're going to have a little drive out, have a lovely stop at a secret destination. It's a place of interest as well. I would say 99% of our passengers will not have been to this place. Wow. So it's going to be a real surprise for them. We're going to have some refreshments, and then later in the afternoon we'll arrive at the Regency Hotel, we've been working really hard together to get this package.
Afternoon tea there, is it?
No, it'll be staying overnight.
Oh, right.
And they'll have a 3-course dinner at the L Experience restaurant that's moved into the Regency.
Yeah.
And then the following morning, after breakfast, we go out for another little mystery drive, another secret destination, morning tea and coffee.
So it really will be a little mini holiday.
Yeah. So, and then we'll get them home about lunchtime.
And this is a try, or are you going to do some more of these, or see how it goes?
Well, to be honest, when we first set it up, I really have no idea if it would be successful. And I would have been quite happy if we'd have just had a dozen or 15 people, just to meet them, take them out and about. But the first one has sold out within a few days.
Wow.
We had a second one in place anyway for the south of the island and the east of the island. That's on the 1st of September. That's also sold out. And we've now put one on for the 8th of September, and that's half full already.
Well, that's good. I mean, and just to finish this, where do you think you're going to be this time next year? Do you think you'll be able to hold it out and carry on? And
we're in a reasonably good position to get through the winter.
And if you go, there'll be no coach operators,
right? No, that's it. And then, but we service lots of other industries as well. You see, because we bring the people in from the airport, from the boats to the hotels. The group visits for next year are very good, because most groups that were scheduled to come in this year have moved to next year.
Did a lot of people just say that they didn't want the refund, they'd rather just rebook, which is helpful, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, it's which is to some degree. So we know the diary is looking good and healthy for next year, but we just can't plan anything.
No,
none of us know what's going to happen from week to week.
And back to this thing about the bus vanning competing against you. We hear this all the time, but at the same time, people want. I suppose they want it. They're using these services, but there comes a point when it's. Is it unfair competition when you go that far?
It is. Yeah.
Because you're not getting a like-for-like tender or anything.
No.
So what would you like to do? For MHKs who are watching this and that sort of thing?
Well, we've been lobbying hard over the last few years about this, but we just need a fair remit to be able to tender.
Fair playing field.
Yeah. For educational work or whatever. They need to concentrate on their timetabled work, and let the private sector have a bit of a chance. because I think at the end of the day, the Isle of Man needs and has to have a coach company. Because if we give up, there'll be nothing left.